Now recording.
Hello.
Hey.
How's it going?
Yeah, pretty good.
Were we gonna play Astroneer again?
Yeah, I'll boot it up. Yeah, one of my friends is visiting this afternoon, like later, and so we're coordinating. There's like a whole, like we want to go play this like Lollyland. Oh yeah, we checked it out when you were here, like the Lollyland mini golf, like inside Palace of Fine Arts.
Yeah.
We're gonna go play that like at 7 p.m. But then he gets in like later in the evening, so then we're trying to figure out like where to meet. We're gonna eat dinner and then go there. But I'm always like looking at the time, being like, you know, like his flight gets in at this time, like this is how long to get across the city on the bus, like, and then try to estimate like how long dinner, and then it's like, oh, like, yeah, it's just funny how like getting across a city and accounting for all the time.
Yeah, there's a lot of like coordination that goes into that. Yeah, especially like with things like public transit. It like adds just the coordination of public transit adds like a legitimate amount of time to like planning things and takes up time, yeah.
Yeah, it would be nice if, like, one, it would just be nice to have like public transit to that part of the city. But then also, if there was, you could sort of just kind of like say the events you wanted to do, and it could like route, like not only tell you like the route from A to B, but like the route to the dinner place and how long dinner would usually take, and like you could just adjust the calendar. Like you just say like, I want to eat dinner, obviously I want to go to this place, and it would just price
Yeah.
it out and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice in places where public transit is like so common or like happens so often too, like in a large city where like you can just wait at a stop and like it'll reasonably come within like 10 like 20 to 30 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
It feels like more, yeah. I guess like the traffic is high enough for it to be like a reasonable thing in those places, yeah.
Well, I guess we we just want to go to like the core of the planet,
Okay.
but we might need like the third tier drill bit, which is made of like
Yeah,
diamond.
drill mod. Like the drill mod, you mean?
Yeah, third drill mod 3. It takes one
Yeah.
diamond to make diamond. We might find diamond for one of us, but diamond is made
Yeah.
in this machine over here.
Yeah.
Diamond
It looks like I
takes.
spawned. I think I probably died before we saved last
Oh
time or
yeah, we're
something. 'Cause,
gonna
yeah, I don't have
rescue.
anything in my backpack. I
Yeah.
don't have anything in my backpack, so I'm gonna have to like get this small printer, I think, uh, in
Well, we
order to
could go
make like.
rescue your body.
Yeah, where is it?
I remember it's like on one of, we had to go like
Uh,
through the teleporter. Should we go try to
yeah, I
rescue?
wonder. Yeah, it's hard to say whether rescuing it would take more time than just creating all the stuff again.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that body has the surfboard or anything on it anyway. Like, I think I've just like died in places where like it's just like a canyon or something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And you might not really need the surfboard. Like if we're just like going straight down into the planet. And I guess only
Mhm.
like if I dig the route, then you could slide behind me.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I guess you can sort of decide what you want. Like I could give examples of stuff. Well, I guess oxygen tanks. And so if you get like quartz, like the pink stuff, you can make it into glass, get more oxygen tank. And I don't know what else. Yeah, like you just need oxygen to get down to
Well,
the
like
middle.
the yeah, probably like the generator, right? Uh,
Oh yeah, that little special. Yeah, I don't think we can make those, but you can get if you use. Well, you could have this generator. You just need to supply it with like plant.
okay. Yeah, wasn't there like an what is it? The small oxygen thing. Uh, it's not oxygen filters. I think it's from the small printer or something. Isn't there something that can produce oxygen or no? Am I?
No,
I
and
guess.
just those tanks fill up, and this is like a
Okay.
temporary, like a resin can make these, but you don't need them if you have uh, the tanks.
Yeah, I guess I'm thinking about the battery too. I'll just take a solar thing.
Well, the generator, yeah, if you need power, you can run the generator. It runs off like vegetation.
Mhm.
Yeah, I kept watching the Super Bowl halftime show, and then I watched like all this analysis videos of it. I thought it was
Yeah,
really, and then I like learned about like just Kendrick Lamar. I watched some stuff from him.
yeah,
It's a pretty crazy, just like whole story, and like once you get in, like once you see like an artist, like and you start reading about like what does their songs mean and what are their better songs and like what stuff have they done or what are they trying to communicate. It's like really, it's like a whole rabbit hole of stuff, and you're like, wow, like basically like any any
yeah.
person
Well, it's like,
come across is like the most interesting person ever, and then it just depends like how
yeah,
much material is out there about like what they've done.
yeah. I think when somebody is like, yeah, like writing or yeah, like really just producing anything, it's gonna have like its own. It's gonna be like have its own narrative or its own perspective, and then yeah, it can end up being like pretty interesting to hear like things that are like otherwise like we would have never heard of or like are just like a different take on things
Mm.
and stuff like that. I'm just being like very general, not talking about like the Kendrick Lamar thing. I don't know enough.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
I
like
haven't
even
watched any of
beyond.
the analysis. I haven't watched any of the
Yeah.
analysis stuff on that one, but
Yeah, it was pretty good. Like some of it is like just clear, like it's narratives about like Black history, like in America,
yeah,
in the halftime show. But some of the like the way they explain some of the imagery like gives an insight into like some deeper meaning.
yeah,
Like even like one line is like 40 acres and a mule, and I guess I've heard that before, but I didn't realize that that was literally like they promised freed slaves like 40 acres and a mule, which was the land recovered from the plantation owners. But then there was a
hmm.
change of presidents, and they like went back on that deal, and none of them got it, and the land went
Oh,
back to like the slave owners. Uh, and so
wow.
that to me, it's like that happened, and that is so unfair, and would have like done so much. To like get people back on their feet and stuff. And so
Yeah,
it's like this one thing like if anything that was like the original promise that was broken kind of like that they would just have a path to a better life as a favor of like generating all the wealth for the entire country. You know, and then like they just don't get
yeah,
it, and it's so funny that like just that one thing is like yeah, let's just concentrate on like rebalancing everything because we failed that first promise and failed every consecutive promise and now are like
yeah,
actively like uh so it's sort of funny. It's like it's just the way the halftime show comes together, like you know that's something that I kind of learned, like I put that together in my head of like that historical event of like that failed promise, and then like immediately you're just like on the side of like the singer, and then so you're like yeah, this guy's like
yeah,
making really good points, uh and then but then the
yeah,
interesting thing is like the fight with Drake, where I guess the idea is that like Drake comes from money and is not like a he didn't really live through in a direct way like the same oppression that other black people did, and so
I
uh
guess yeah. I know that
yeah.
he was like a child actor. I think at one point. I
Hmm.
think anyway. I didn't really watch any of the shows that he was in and stuff like that, but like I think some of my friends did, and like when Drake like first started to get like famous from like singing, they were like, "Oh yeah, that's like the guy from that show, and I was like, what show are you talking about? Like, so, but I know that he went through that, and like, so I don't know. Yeah, like that's kind of my intel on whatever that is.
Yeah. Yeah, it seemed like there's this, I guess in the black community there's people that are like there's a guy Malcolm X was very, I
Hmm.
think it was more on like the militant side of like, things need to change now and we need to like fight against it. And Kendrick Lamar maybe is more connected with that. And Samuel L. Jackson was part of the halftime show. And there was like
Yeah.
I think there was a group of more like, I guess it would be called militant, like black people that were like Black Panthers. And Samuel L. Jackson was in that
Mm.
group. And also when Martin Luther King died, apparently like Samuel L. Jackson was like an usher at the funeral. So he was like very connected with the movement and stuff.
Yeah.
Uh,
I would say that like
mhm.
I would say except for maybe like kind of some of the Black Panther stuff, like the stuff that I've been exposed to, I wouldn't call it militant. Like I don't know if I would use the word militant just
Mhm.
based on like how whatever I've seen of it sort of thing. But
Yeah, at
I
least
don't know. That's
the
just
like the I think like Malcolm X like deepest like rhetoric was more on the side of like, like I don't really
yeah,
know,
like
but
I know
it seemed more,
they
yeah.
had like really strong movements, yeah. Like
Yeah.
but I mean like and it was like multiracial, I think. Like for the most part, like I think like Martin Luther King and like Malcolm X, the
Mhm.
like speeches and stuff that they do have like pretty good turnouts from like all races
Yeah.
when I've seen like footage.
Yeah, then cuz I guess there's like I think there's like a perceived, like sometimes there's like infighting in like the black community where, like for example,
Yeah.
like Snoop Dogg performed at like Trump's inauguration. And
Oh yeah.
then Snoop Dogg, like people like, but I think to a certain extent, like I don't know where like Drake's performed or what Drake's views are, but it seems like Kendrick's main point is that like Drake is willing to like soften his message, and he's more of like a, like Drake is like this, can be used as like uh
He's like a cultural icon, I think, is like how I've seen most of his stuff. I know there's like weird rap battles going on
yeah.
between Drake, I think, and like people, but like I've probably heard some of the songs, but yeah, they are like they're not like immediately obvious if you don't know who they're talking about because like
Yeah.
so I don't know. Like I probably heard some of the songs, but I haven't realized like oh that's like about Drake or something like that. Like
Yeah, I found the whole like rap battle very hard to follow until I started. That's why I put the analysis, because like the comedy routine like covers in like entertaining detail like uh, what exactly went back and forth between the two of them.
yeah.
But it seems like it. That's the thing is I feel like Drake. I think Drake just represents like a black guy who like raps and is popular, and to a certain extent it seems like maybe like the white community can sort of be like, see, we're nice to black people, like here's this to do black person that gets along with everyone, and it's Drake. But then the problem is like Drake doesn't then use his power to be like, and we demand like, the things that we deserve as a culture. Like he doesn't go
Yeah, I
there.
think
He, like everyone sort
I
of
don't
like
know.
it's like yeah, that's what I don't know, is I don't have information about
Yeah,
this,
like
but it
well I
seems
don't
like,
yeah,
yeah.
but like I also don't think that like I don't know if that's a thing or not. Like I don't know if you can like say Drake is like a white puppet or something. Like that's
But
kind of what
that's
it
kind
sounds
of,
like. That's
that's
kind of what
what
it sounds
it's,
like. I don't think
yeah.
that's a thing.
The
Like
only
because
thing though
like
is that
that sounds pretty silly to me. Like
but that's what
I
I
don't know.
sort of
I think it's
like, I'm
like
probably misinterpreting the rap battle, but uh
I don't know.
like
I have no
the
idea.
analysis that I watched though is that like that's what I'm just saying, what I believe the opinion of like Kendrick Lamar is. Like I don't know if like Kendrick Lamar seems to be saying that he's the king of rap, he's the best, like that's his main
Yeah.
point. But the reason he seems to be like opposed to Drake, like, and this thing, the ways he like disses Drake is by saying that he's like not a real, like one of Kendrick's
Yeah,
album
like I know
covers.
Drake has like a lot of like allegations against him, and I know that people rap about them all the time as well.
And
Like
one of
I've
the things
heard
they
some of
say
that.
though, yeah, the
Yeah.
allegations, like the allegations are like maybe adjacent, but there's a critique that they say like Drake is not like a real black person, like, and a lot of black people say that, and I don't know exactly what they mean by that, but like,
I think
uh,
it's that they don't want to like because of the allegations, they don't want to like culturally identify like some like groups of people like because people would say maybe people will try to point at Drake and say this is why black people are bad or something because he's a cultural icon like and because he has allegations against him. So like I think sometimes for some groups the only response is no, he's not or something. Like he's just not one of them is like what they say because it's like a valid response to somebody trying to like I guess use somebody as a puppet maybe.
yeah, I feel that like if Drake was on the side of like Malcolm X and like pushing for rights and like part of the movement, and if he, like, to a certain extent, if you have a talented guy, you'd be like, you should really be using your talent to like advance our like sort of our cultural identity. And
Yeah.
but I guess one of the problems is because of Drake's background, maybe he's not really, he doesn't come from like Compton, California, where like the basis of the rap movement, you know, tied in with the ideology and stuff comes from. And so he can't like authentically get in there and use, like, he doesn't have the childhood
Like the
experiences
culture
perhaps.
yeah, like
Yeah,
the culture of his music is different, I think, probably because of his
yeah.
upbringing and like just the locations that he was born
So
and
then
stuff
I
like that.
feel
And
that yeah,
maybe yeah, like maybe for like maybe some people are like consuming his content and they're like mistakenly identifying as like personally with things that he's saying where like they were not actually born the same place he was so they don't understand what he's saying or something. I don't know, that's kind of the context that I'm getting.
yeah. But I guess though what happens is like, because people from Compton, their music will be like, you know, if they do the real music, if they behave like the real way that their culture behaves, they get like pushed out of like white society, I think. And there was dialogue in the Super Bowl halftime show that like that touches on that, which then like the comedian summary that I watched like pointed out. They said
Mhm.
like the Uncle Sam character, like Samuel L. Jackson playing Uncle Sam. He says at one point, he's like, he says two, like they do their first performance of the first song, which is maybe a critique of like America, and say, or I think it's called Squabble Up, but I have no idea what that song means. But I
Yeah.
think it's taken as like, it's like a song that like wouldn't be, you know, freely played on like PG radio and like endorsed by all, you know, it's probably got some messaging in it that's more like,
Mhm.
you know, you must recognize this as a community or something like that. Like I'd have to look in the song,
Right.
but then so the
Oh.
Uncle Sam's comment is like too loud, too vulgar, too whatever. Like he says rhetoric that's usually used as like, and then Uncle Sam says like, you know, if you really want to play this American game, like you got to straighten up. And the
Well, like he
message,
is like he I think it's like he's dressed up like Uncle Sam, right? Like it's and Uncle
yeah,
Sam is propaganda. So I mean like he's dressed up like propaganda. That's confusing to me a little bit. Like like I don't know why I can't analyze that part of it correctly. I don't
yeah.
think like
Well, I think what's
yeah.
happening is like, well, people say that Kendrick Lamar and the shows that he's part of are the masters of like many layers of meaning. And so from
Yeah.
watching all this analysis, I think that like, you know, Uncle Sam represents the voice of like white America. Like what is the white America want you to do for America? Because Uncle Sam has been
Oh.
in all these ads of like, you know, join the military, do this, like fight against this, and it's always like the
Yeah.
white, you know, white Uncle Sam America. But to put it as to make Uncle Sam black and have him be played by Samuel L. Jackson, that says that, you know, the message of white America sometimes comes from a black voice, like perhaps Drake. You know, like Drake might in some way be a puppet of some sort of white America and be sort of okay with the messaging of like, yeah,
Isn't,
let's all
but Drake
we gotta
isn't
do.
American. Like Drake isn't
Yeah.
even American, is he?
Well, I sort of, yeah, like he's from Canada, and
Does he
that's
do,
also that I think
like,
that's
state
part of like,
deafening?
well, like Drake is popular in America. Like he
Oh.
Drake came in, like everybody, you know, has to come to America to be popular. But the fact that like,
Well, I
you know,
guess he like I've heard that he goes to a lot of like basketball games and stuff like that too.
yeah, like
So
it,
like I think
Yeah.
like he's from the like looks of it, he almost at some point became like kind of like I don't know if it's rude to say like that like kind of like a quasi mascot for like one of the basketball teams. I forget which one it was. But like whenever I would see stuff about basketball, it would be like, oh, like Drake's at a basketball game, look at his picture. And it was like, okay, and like Drake did another thing. He's high-fiving people at a basketball game. Like it's like, okay, like
it's like look at him go, he's good.
yeah, like, so I don't know. Like that's most of like the recent like I don't know. I don't watch Drake news. I don't pay
Yeah,
attention
I
to
never
Drake news.
watched any of this. I've only tried to be like catching up through like people from like there's been, you know, like black comedian, black analysis videos, like they're doing a good job of like like one of them was, it's titled like explaining the Kendrick Drake like rap battle to white people, and it's like a guy like a stand-up comedian.
I think
like,
it's like good. Yeah, I mean like I think that's good. Like well, I don't know about like I haven't seen the comedy routine, but I think it's a good thing to actually do that, to be
Yeah.
like, okay, here's what's going on, because like sometimes
because there's so much like language and like even like he makes a point about the funny names of like rappers that we wouldn't even have heard of or identify as like a rapper name, and he has to like explain to white people like, oh, this is a rapper, like and it's pretty true to a certain extent. Like there's a whole like there's a phrase that's called like code switching, which means like when you're in like if you're in a black community talking in the way that you do, like using your certain language a certain way, when you go to a workplace that's typically like white, you have to switch up like how you use language to get respect like in the workplace, because like white people just don't know this language or this culture, and then to a certain extent it's like suppressed. But I feel if there's like an overall point to any of this, I feel that like Kendrick Lamar sees himself as the best rapper, but it seems like, you know, like Drake gets a lot of talk shows and a lot of press, and Drake gets a lot of wealth and like support, and so what seems to be happening is like Drake, who comes from like not a, you know, a repressed gang background surrounded by drugs and like all these things that black people have to typically deal with, like Drake does not have any of that, and so Drake's music is like rap for a more of like a white audience, or like an audience of black people that have like straightened up their message to appeal to a wider audience and get fame. But then
I see.
So then everyone looks at Drake and is like, well, see, like, you know, this is a nice black person, like not all of them are quote unquote bad, but then it's like, but there's nothing wrong with the quote unquote bad ones, it's only like what we did to them. And then
it's like his message just like his message naturally doesn't include as much cultural suffering as the rest of the culture.
But then you could see that
I'm not a part of it, so I don't know, but potentially that's an issue.
So then you could see that probably like the stories that Kendrick Lamar wants to tell, you could probably imagine that Kendrick Lamar's been in a lot of meetings where they're like, because they're both in the same label, Kendrick Lamar and Drake.
Oh,
and so,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I mean, you could imagine like executives being like, hey, Kendrick, like if you soften your message, you straighten up your music, you don't be so loud, so whatever, you could make us more money. And he would be like, no, I'm going to tell like my story, the actual story, and I'm going to do it so well that it gets like on a national stage. And then, so this is a very like interesting point where like Kendrick Lamar does the Super Bowl halftime show and he performs his most like targeted piece, like the Not Like Us like song against well, you know, people see it as like a diss track against Drake, but prior to the song at the Super Bowl, he says this is he says the 40 acres and a mule, this is more than just the music line, which is like, it's not, you know, like Drake might sue or whatever or think it's about him, but this is not about Drake. This is about the injustice that had happened all the way back to like after slavery got taken down and then promises started to get broken. This is about like, you know, the black culture being recognized for what it actually is and not the version of black culture that white people want to see. And that's why the character Uncle Sam keeps showing up and saying like, you know, like at one point Uncle Sam is like, oh, that's better, this is much better, I like this one, you know, like he's applauding like the track that's not as targeted or like true to the suffering.
I guess I guess that messaging makes more sense to me because it's like you have Uncle Sam who is like a militant propaganda person, like who is in this context they are a black person, and like he's basically saying like, yeah, we're gonna show up for this message, like this is a message that I would show up for, like, but it's like that's just like one of the voices that's like being said potentially. I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like
it's like I just like can't think of any other reason why what, like, you know, it's it's just there.
Yeah, I think my understanding mostly comes from the comedy routine that I watched, which the guy said, he said like this was a black comedy performer, and he said the literal language of like too loud, too reckless, too whatever, and then followed by the message of like straighten up. He said like that's literally like people say that to him, like he's like just being himself in his own culture, and then all of a sudden people will be like, you know, you got to straighten up or the cops are gonna get you, or like you got to straighten up here if you want a promotion at work or whatever. Like there's a lot of times when, you know, it's just like a group, it's a community of black people like expressing themselves in the way that they do, and there's nothing wrong with it, but it's like it's seen as like too loud and too reckless, and so therefore they don't get the money, they don't get the contracts, they get like pushed out of the media. And so to hear that like that's a message that won't make sense for like kind of for us, because the media doesn't like feed us that information. But finally, like through this like Super Bowl performance, like it finally got to me, you know, like I finally looked into it. People like these YouTube videos got promoted, and now I feel like, okay, I get like we're like shaping, you know, we want these people to like conform to our standards and behave like us, but at the same time we're not giving them 40 acres and a mule. Like we're sort of putting them in these neighborhoods, like you know, putting extra policing on them, like kicking them down, and then saying like, you know, why can't you just like sort of do things our way and make, you know, be like us? And then when they try to that puts them at like a disadvantage. And then so it's sort of, so I feel like I see like exactly like, to me now, like Kendrick Lamar is like one artist using rap to sort of bring awareness to that message, and then there's other figures that are using other mediums, but altogether it's so powerful because it's like also just in general like that, you know, I haven't watched like the halftime show ever in the past, but this halftime show is like one of the best like performances that I've seen, like for dancing and for lighting and for like choreography coordination, and the music, and just like the way that like Drake is quite a performer, like he's very like charismatic, or Kendrick Lamar is like very charismatic and a good like performer, just the way he like he has all these like, little smiles and nods, and like the way so that was incredibly powerful for me, seeing like it's like, damn, like this is like excellent like entertainment, and it could only be better if you give people like that like more freedom and attention, because sometimes, you know, like we don't let people give their true message, and then we just sort of everything becomes bland and like safe and like PG-ified or something.
But
it's
like
nice
I
when,
think
you get something like
Yeah,
really
like I
fresh, and yeah, it's cool.
yeah, it's interesting that like a lot of like the study of history, a lot of the study of history is done through like culture analysis, I think. Like as opposed to like it's yeah,
Or
I
like
would
a
say.
social history is one of the words.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard yeah, social history is like a good word for it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the word I heard to describe women in like spying. I was listening to this like spy podcast, and they were
Oh
talking about
really?
like the role that like women played in organizing and spying and like passing off information, and how like that's not the official history, like none of it is in the books, but there's certain figures you can like interview and talk to. And so the person that was covering it said they're like basically a social historian. Like they've heard the stories like from the individuals and collected information that the individuals kept in order to build the social history of like women spying throughout the time, because that's not like the academic history or like the documented
Yeah.
history. So you have to talk to the people to like get the story that was not told by the institution.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny like there was this book by I think it was by Malcolm Gladwell that I was like listening to, and he talks about I guess during like the Cuban Missile Crisis there was like a female spy. It might have been in the United States. I think it might have been. And she like they were interviewing people, I think at one point, like about espionage or something like that. And the guy that was interviewing her was like the one that was talking about his experience. And he said that like he almost like avoided certain questions because he thought that she might be having like secret relationships with people in the office and stuff like that. And like he thought that that might have been the reason why she was like so sneaky or something like that. Like so it, like it's almost like that was like a like
Yeah.
yeah he like removed some of his suspicion from her like because he suspected her of like being in a secret
Yeah.
romantic relationship.
It's like, yeah, it's like whatever kind of camouflage that is, like social
Yeah,
camouflage or something.
yeah, and like I don't know
I'm
if
gonna
that
go
was
underground here. I'll start like
okay.
yeah, just that's where I'll. But eventually, eventually I'll be so far underground that I probably won't come back up. But I have like a save house and some oxygen like supply. So then at some point you could start sliding down, as long as you don't like fall off the edge. If I don't dig enough or something.
Okay, is there like a you said you have a house thing there?
Yeah, eventually I'll put down a house, but I have like 4 oxygen packs. Yeah, it looks like you have quartz. You could turn that quartz into glass, and then with your backpack printer, you could print more tanks.
Okay.
But then I guess if
Okay,
you
I'll turn it.
die,
Yeah, I'll turn
yeah,
the to the glass here first.
like if you run out of oxygen, you could just like die, and then you could slide back down, get your body, or make more oxygen. Yeah, we could take like multiple attempts. But yeah, I'll just start trying to make a path like all the way to the center. I don't have the best drill bit either, but I think I could just go slow or something once I get to that part. But yeah, I cut you off. I don't know if you remember what you were saying.
I think. Oh yeah, I was talking about the Cuban Missile Crisis. I think.
Yeah, that was like oh yeah. Oh yeah, so you're saying like, yeah, when that was happening, that female sort of interaction happened where the guy like underestimated her or something.
Yeah, like he just like removed suspicion from her because he
Yeah.
like assumed she was already suspicious or something. Like something strange like that. Are you're going down that?
Yeah. Yeah, you could slide pretty slow because there's some parts that are. It should be obvious like where to go, but
Hmm.
there's some parts where it gets like angled or it gets narrow.
Yeah, I think the rate at which it loads might be an issue for me too.
Yeah, it's funny sometimes. Like I stumble across that music and that stuff, and then the more I look into it, the more it's like, yeah, this seems like really important. Like this is an important message, and it's like, why didn't they say it in a more like direct way? And then the more that
Hmm.
I like look at the analysis and stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, they were pretty obvious about this. Like it's just like it's so it becomes more and more clear. It's like, yeah, I was not paying attention. Like it's like this is all just laid out very clearly like for me. Uh, oh yeah, I think my drill bit is gonna not be hard enough. Yeah, I didn't make it very far.
Okay.
Oh, I thought this was the surface, but now we're still underground.
You're going back up to the surface.
Yeah, I think I'll try to make like the diamond drill bit because that'll be like
Okay.
a guaranteed way at least to get.
You have diamond now, or no?
Actually, my current one. I think I'll just recharge my oxygen, then I'll go dig more.
Okay. I have the second drill mod if that's what you need.
Yeah, I have that one too. I realized actually I didn't even have it turned on. That's why I was not getting through some dirt. But I think sometimes with the second drill mod, it's just like really slow. And the planet is very thick, so that could take a while.
Hmm. Why can't I? I can't like print the oxygen tank for some reason.
Maybe no power. You might have to like run
No,
your generator.
I do have. I think. Let me see.
There should be like a yellow bar.
Yeah, it was that. What? It's making empty. It's making empty oxygen tank.
Oh, it makes them empty. Yeah.
No. Okay, well, I'm gonna die then. I'll have to come back and get the drill mod.
Yeah, I think you're too far from me. I have some. I had like some oxygen.
Yes, I know my backpack is in an okay spot, I think.
Yeah, I could give you some tanks if you want to like use them to get down there or something.
Okay. If are you just trying to go down there to get diamonds right now?
I have to make diamonds somehow. I think we may have partially. We have some of the ingredients we need.
Is it not a findable one? It would just be carbon, wouldn't it?
Diamond, you have to make like graphene.
Oh.
Graphene is. See, we have like one hydrazine. We need a hydrazine, which is this like fuel thing, and we need a graphite.
Hmm.
You can make, we can just like get graphite by making it for this like soil centrifuge. I just need to dig some dirt. But then yeah, we might have to find. Actually, no. I guess we can make it. Yeah, we can just make we can make the ingredients for hydrazine, I think, and make in the soil centrifuge we can make ammonium and graphite that we need.
Mm.
Yeah, so yeah, the more expensive drill bits take like more power, which is also a bit annoying because
Mm-hmm.
then it just drains the power faster. Yeah, it's kind of cool that we have all this stuff we need. Yeah, it's fascinating. Like stuff like I guess, you know, like black history and like women and their role throughout history. These are things that are like things like these big things that happened and some like injustices and some like very impressive things that is like largely not like told to like at least us or me in like my education and stuff. So it's like very fascinating
Mm.
to me because it's like, oh, like this is a bunch of stuff that I would have been really like by any measure very interested to know about, but no
Yeah.
one, you know, like no one it's almost like it's kept as like a secret because you know, like you can read into it more and more, like those in power don't really want certain groups to be like recognized and have to share like their, you know, what they consider their
Yeah.
own with them. And
Yeah, I think like
yeah,
different groups have like different reasons to oppress different groups. Like I don't think it's always for the same reason. Like
yeah,
that, so it's hard to say like there's one oppressing hate group or something like that. Like I think there's like multiple different ones that have multiple different reasons. And like so it's a hard issue to fight against because like there's no one thing like
yeah,
that you can say or do to be like, hey, like, I think the world should be more like this or something like that, like, without like affecting, like, without there being like multiple different parties with multiple different beliefs existing at all times. That's just the way the world, like, kind of
yeah,
operates. So it's difficult to like have any message, I think, or like do, yeah. So, when there's like hidden, not necessarily hidden knowledge, but just like knowledge that like isn't as accessible. Like it's usually like yeah, there's a lot of different reasons for why that's the case, I think.
yeah. It makes us, yeah, like stuff we just don't know about makes us less empathy for like certain
Mhm.
groups and stuff if we just don't know their story at all or feel connected.
Yeah. But I don't think it's always like because I don't think it's always because the information is being like suppressed from the people that don't know it. I think sometimes it's just like naturally they're not seeking out the information because it just has less to do with like their what's going on in their life at that time. So like I think there's like I think that like I'm not sure if that's like an issue or not because like if somebody is like let's say somebody has is surrounded by people that are like from a lot of different cultures or something, but like not very many of them are black, then they are going to be focused on like the cultural issues of other people as well. So they have like less time or to learn about like whatever issue might be like considered the most important to like a nation at a certain time or something as well. Like if something, like there's always like multiple cultural issues going on in the world at the same time. So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, it's like which ones do we pay attention to? And sometimes the answer is like it's the ones that are like the most personally important because that's the way that at that time like that nation is to us or something like that.
Yeah, I guess that reminds me of like, it's almost like, it's like the stuff that's most important to us is like our own race and like community and everything. But then whenever I learn like, oh, like we're the ones that have been like on top for the entire time and we always win and we get everything we want, then it starts, and then there's these other people that like don't even get
Yeah,
a
like I think
fair.
that's
Yeah.
yeah, like that's definitely like a certain lens to view it through. like
Yeah, it
like I
starts
think
making me, well,
like
it makes me
any
feel
yeah.
like it's like I thought I had problems, but the other people that have even like more fundamental problems is like hidden from my analysis of like what is going wrong
Yeah.
or something. And
But I
then
mean, like
yeah.
when black people are saying that like Drake isn't like them or something like that, like I think there's a lot of cases where white people can say like certain white people aren't like us as well. So like
Yeah.
I think it is an important distinction to like identify when people of a certain race are like not like like not all races are like cohesive and have the same reasons to do things. Like it's not like
Mm.
yeah, you know, I'm not sure how to word
Yeah,
like
just
what
I guess it's
where
like
this
a
thought is
class.
coming
I think
from,
it
but
becomes like a class thing. Like
yeah.
there's
But I mean, like
the
if there's
working
not,
class, and yeah.
yeah. But I mean, like not every, yeah, like not every race is always constantly communicating with each other. Like I think there's groups within races that do that, unfortunately. But not every race is like communicating to themselves, being like, okay, this is like the white agenda, right? This is like the black agenda, right? Okay, like clap, like break or something. Like I don't know, like there's to me, like in my world anyway, like that's not going on. So like I don't know, when I hear like a lot of this stuff about these things happening, like it's just like sometimes it just like blows my mind like how friggin' ridiculous that is. It's like, okay, like maybe that's the problem. Like, I don't know. But I mean, yeah, the issue of like, yeah, power struggles and like and finance and everything, like obviously comes into play. And then people do feel that way about it because they're like, well, like when you look at the statistics, like racially, this is how these things play out. And like obviously there's something going on. Like that's kind of the way it feels, I think, for a lot of people. So it's like, yeah, it's a issue,
Yeah.
I think, but like it's very hard to tackle because yeah, again, like there's lots of different groups, there's lots of different like interests, there's lots of different parties. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like a dilemma though, where it's like the group that's struggling is not my group, and my group is kind of, I'm connected to like the group that's kind of seen as like the reason the other group is struggling. But then
Okay.
it's like, but I don't have like the ability to like personally empathize with the group that's struggling, and I don't have the power in my own group to like prevent us from oppressing. So I'm just like kind of, it feels like caught in the middle, you know? Like it's like, well, I'm like along for the ride. Like I'm just like watching, like it's like, yeah, those people that are oppressed, they got really good points and like they put on a good show. Like they really
Mhm.
they really
Yeah, like I
told
think
us.
it's
Yeah.
yeah, like I think it is good that like issues like that are being given a cultural stage though because it does like represent people's voices. Like it's great.
Yeah.
I think that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
But yeah,
best.
it's
Yeah.
difficult to say like how like otherwise it is difficult to say how best to help like because or like support the right places or the right voices. Like it's very, very difficult to tell sometimes. But
Yeah,
yeah,
there
like
is
just I think hearing voices is like one of the main things I think and like hearing people's opinions and like their culture.
that sounds funny out of context, like hearing and listening to the voices. Like the voices,
yeah,
yeah, like the voices in your head, right? Just like
that's not
it's
what I
like, do you hear
mean.
voices? Like that's good. Listen to that. Yeah, you mean like the human, the other
Yeah,
human
like it's like
voices.
okay, if you don't have access to media, then like what I'm sounding, what I sound like is like, yeah, it's like the voices, like, but it's just like no, like, what are you talking about? Every fucking day, everybody sees videos with people's voices in them. Like, this is the way people talk now. The voices, the voices.
Yeah, it's actually close. It's like because it is in our head. It's like we're listening with earphones to like this disembodied voice, like literally in our
Yeah.
head. It's like, yeah. I've heard that like Gen Z, like the younger generations, they are very they care a lot about authenticity, and
Yeah,
to
that's
me
good.
that's very interesting. Like the ability, like because these days, there's AI generated spam and there's like purposely misleading things, uh,
Hmm.
and so it's like you cannot trust any message from anyone in any medium, and so then it's like, well, how do we determine who is telling the actual truth that we should like stand behind and sort of support, and who is just like misleading us? And then it all comes
Yeah.
down to like a human's ability to like detect authenticity in like messaging. uh but the whole like that halftime show
Yeah, and
to
like the
me, like,
fact that
yeah,
yeah, like I think the fact that that is like a social responsibility or something that people need to take on, I think that is like an issue as well. Like I think a lot of people when they are done work at the end of the day, like they want to turn on TV and like listen to a song that makes them happy. Like that's just kind of like a natural thing to want to do at the end of a day. So like I think there's like almost some aggression or like some like frustration surrounding like having to listen to mm, like social narratives all the time. Like I think that like a lot of media is really useful to spread social narratives like we're talking about. I think it's really important. But like when somebody is bombarded by like too much of that from multiple directions, because like I said, there is a lot of different things going on at the same time, like
yeah.
it can be like very like I think like socially fatiguing for people. So like
I
yeah.
feel like the like it's always the case that like young people, like Gen Z and young people, they can get, if they get bombarded with information, like they're even more because they from birth, like they've sort of had that social media, and
Mhm.
they would be, I would suspect, like the most capable to intake just a bombardment of information and make sense of it without getting overwhelmed. Like whereas like to a certain extent, like our generations, we're like familiar with the internet and stuff, but we get overwhelmed because our childhood was one of a certain rate of information, and now it's like been like bumped up exponentially. uh,
Right.
but
Yeah.
it's so fascinating to see like younger generations being able to just like ride the wave of information and like get to the core so quickly and deliver the
Yeah.
message with like just in stride, without like breaking a sweat. And it's sort of like that's really cool. Like they have this capability that I certainly feel like I get tired. Just being like older generation used to a different style of like communication. But
Mhm.
I feel like right now I'm relying on like a bunch of independent journalists to like assess what is going on like TikTok and these places, and like deliver to me like what's the message. Like they have to consolidate for me, but I feel like younger people live in the actual trends. Like they're watching all the TikToks, they're following the accounts, and like they're getting like the
Yeah.
first hand information of like who like direct from the influencers. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
I'm relying on like journalists that sort of like figure out what the influencers are saying and then like deliver it to me so I can like keep up. Uh,
Yeah.
but it's so
Yeah, I
funny how
think there's a lot
that
of
comes and goes.
like yeah, I think like uh yeah, it's like a good way to spread information, I think, because like you'll have people like I see a lot of like people that take like courses in like robotics coding or something like that, and then they'll just start making like YouTube series and stuff about it.
Mm.
And it's like about the knowledge that they have, and it's like that's great. Like it's great to see like knowledge being spread in a way that's using like current technology. Like I'm not sure. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like it just seems like the best way. But yeah, again, like with misinformation and stuff like that too. Like it can be dangerous, I think. But
yeah,
yeah, in general, like I think it's like the technology exists, so I think it's always like important to have like as positive of an outlook, and like whenever there's positive data being input into like a new tool, I think that's great because you don't want it to only be the negative input, you know?
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm seeing. Sort of like I feel like almost like like from 20 to 30, it like mid 20 to mid 30s is like the window where people are doing their best, like they're most like public work, like they've done their best work in their early 20s, and then they
Mm-hmm.
get to they can like make it to the world stage and like just show people what they did like in their early 30s or something. uh and so now it's like, now though, like whoever's like 20-ish like right now, they are like in the zeitgeist of like the culture and everything, and they're like using all their skills to like make stuff. And then we'll like maybe a decade later we'll see like this even more impressive take on the whole message.
Yeah.
Where's your guy in
Yeah.
game now?
I'm still back at the house.
Yeah, I
Also,
think
like
we're
the
pretty much
our
ready.
tractor is like in a hole, like a ramp that leads to the middle of the planet. Like I'm not sure how to recover it best. So
Yeah, we're pretty much good now. We have a pathway like all the way to the core.
okay.
Yeah, if you slide down the pathway, there's maybe like one or two places where the pathway is kind of sketchy, and
Is
you'll
it the
have
one
to
that you
slow down.
went down?
Yeah.
There's like multiple different places they can enter from, I think.
Yeah, the one, if you know the one I went down over by the landing pad.
Yeah, I think yes.
Yeah, we're going to go like down to the planet core. Then there's like this whole like zero gravity environment where we're floating around, and we have to just like sort of put some stuff in the right place.
Hmm. Oh fuck. Sorry.
Yeah, it may take a couple attempts. I guess you only need basically, I guess you'll need oxygen tanks, but sometimes when we're around the planet core, we don't even lose oxygen.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to prevent fall damage. Oh no.
Well, if you fall off, it'll be hard to kind of find
Okay, yeah, yeah,
the
yeah. You just fell
pathway.
off.
Like you'll get kind of lost, and then if you don't have
Yeah.
oxygen, then yeah.
No. What?
This is now like, we just haven't played in so long that we're like struggling just going down like a ramp.
Do you have any oxygen source down there?
Yeah, at the very bottom there is a hut where you can like save.
Okay.
Yeah, here I am. I was on my way. Yeah, it must be hard with the loading times too. Like for me, it loads pretty fast. You can press backwards. Oh, your guy's like running out of oxygen.
Wow.
Oh, you
Yeah,
went
like
up there.
I don't think I can make it. But
Yeah, I'll head
what?
back down. I have to go get some more oxygen too.
Okay. Uh-oh. What?
You can slow down though.
No, I guess I popped out of a base. I popped out of a base like very near the center of the planet,
Oh,
actually.
that's cool. Yeah, I didn't know you could do that without having entered it yourself. But yeah, that's the base that I put there.
Okay, nice. I guess
That's
I guess
basically
it
only
just
one floor.
works. Yeah, I guess it just works as a
Yeah.
spawn point.
Yeah, this place where we are right now, it's like very close. Like we're close to the forest. You know, uh, like I
Okay.
just dug through the ground of the forest, and there, that's where we are now. And
Mhm.
yeah, you went in the other direction, but I guess
There's something
any
called
way you go.
there's a resource called like Astronium over here, I
Yeah,
think.
the main purpose of that is you can research it for a lot of points if you put it in the research machine.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm gonna fill my tanks on this. You could have some oxygen tanks.
It's like the
Yeah, I'm not
most.
sure how. Like, hopefully, when we're near the center of the planet, we will get like free oxygen, but
Mhm.
we may like run low. Yeah, the gravity changes when we step on this thing. Then we're just walking this way. I'll just build some dirt there so that we can tell like which arm we came in on. Yeah, now we're looking at our missions. Yeah, I guess we can walk around. We try to figure out like, I forget exactly. We have to push some button or something. Yeah, at least it looks like we're not running out of oxygen. I'm gonna try to get to this branch. I saw like a little button on it or something.
Oh yeah, it is oxygenated.
We can like almost make it. Oh yeah, there. If you jump like right under it.
Mhm. Yeah, I think I might be able to come at it from an angle or something too.
I don't have any dirt, but normally I could build like a dirt. Yeah, if you stand like right under, just stand under it and jump straight up, and then like let your guy go loose. Oh yeah, that angle almost makes it.
Oh.
Try just like right underneath.
Yeah, I think I've tried. Okay.
Yeah,
No.
if I stand directly underneath and I just press space. Oh yeah, he
Okay.
makes it.
Yeah.
I think they probably designed it that way, like so there's a guaranteed
Okay.
way to get on.
Yeah. I'm just trying that.
Yeah, your guy's
It's not.
making it. He's like his back like gets stuck on it or something.
Okay, there we go. There.
Yeah, so this over here, there's a button. You could press this if you want. It might do a cutscene.
um. Hold on. I'm still trying to find you. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, there we go. That's our enemy, that person there.
Okay.
Yeah, the story is like they're trying to hack, like we're in like a simulation, like Astroneer is a simulation in the game lore. And she's like hacking the simulation and trying to like make it in her image or something. And so we're just trying to like prevent the hacker from hacking everything.
Uh.
That mustache is like our helper guy. Yeah, then I think there's like 3 different locations. we need to like manually override the core.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, so then we can see this platform over here. Oh, and it gives us like a free hut.
Whoa.
Yeah, so these 3 pedestals, we need to you can see that each of the pedestals, like if you walk to the edge of the platform, you can see that there's like a broken pathway that we have to follow. So you can pick any of the 3 directions, and you'll have to follow these broken like pathways that are very 0G. And the broken pathways will bring you somewhere where you can like collect an item, and then you bring the item back and put it like on the pedestal.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess you just like jump to each set and try to like loosely follow the broken pathway into the. There's like a storm. There's a green storm, red storm, and blue storm, I guess.
Okay.
And yeah, you just have to make your way over into the storm to grab like the item.
Okay.
We could do the same one or a different one. This will be like a funny series now that we've like recorded, because for like the first hour of this like one, we're just running in circles at the base talking about like
Kendrick Lamar, like yeah.
Yeah, and then we like now we're
It's just like, do you want to play Astroneer? Yeah. Hey, we all saw Kendrick Lamar, right? Yeah. Like, yeah. Like basically the way that conversation goes, like.
There's like a before you watch this stream, you have to like watch all these videos to get into the context of whatever's happening. Yeah, maybe I should go get some like dirt, because then we could just build like a pathway. Or maybe I can jump in a certain.
Yeah, it seems to be acting strange with the gravity. Like when I jump to the next block, it's just kind of keeping me there, but not like letting me run on it.
Yeah, on the side. I think it's kind of intentional. They want like the gravity is. Yeah, maybe I can go over here and jump in across. Oh yeah, I kind of made it.
I'll be back in just a minute.
Yeah.
I'm back.
Yeah, I got the first one from the green storm. I was able to like walk up one of those purple arms like adjacent, and then I jumped out over to it.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm finding it hard. I'm just finding it hard to even
Yeah, it's hard to manage
navigate
the
in the
camera.
gravity.
Yeah, I get super lost. So I come back to this platform and then I try to take different runs at them.
Hmm.
Now I'll go to the blue one. Yeah, it's interesting what they've done here though. Like this is the part of the game where like you really run up against gravity as like an enemy kind of. And
Hmm.
it's interesting that they made like this is like kind of the boss fight is like dealing with the gravity.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's kind of like most of this game or something is like, yeah, the boss fights are like terraforming and like, yeah, navigating the environment as opposed to really like fighting any enemies.
Yeah, and it's cool that they're aware enough of their own how their gravity works in their game to like put together like kind of a puzzle slash challenge.
Hmm.
Yeah, if you just don't follow the pathway, if you just run like up some other way and then run across.
Okay.
So now I got the blue one also.
Like from one of the purple arms, I guess.
Yeah, purple arms. Yeah, like the most consistent pathway that like, because the blue one is actually the blue like thing that I had to get was at the same level as like the pieces of dirt that we most recently went past, like the broken dirt that we came on our way in. I just ran
Yeah.
across like some of those actually, and the blue thing was like in line with them. Yeah, each storm kind of has an arm. Maybe the red one is like the hardest. They seem to be getting like farther out. That's kind of fun though when like they have set up like a challenge for us, but then to beat the challenge you can kind of use the game like against itself. I think they intend for that to happen,
Hmm.
where you can just like kind of, because we can build terrain too, so if we wanted to we could just collect dirt and then use the terrain tool to like beat this part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm at the red place now. Well, now if we put all these three things in place, then the center will open up, and then I guess there's like a final cutscene inside there. You're over by the center core.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll put the last piece in now and we can see. Oh yeah, it starts a cutscene. That's like one of those little jars that the little aliens are in this game,
Hmm.
like the terraform aliens or whatever. That would be cool if we got some kind of power. We could like put that little person in our backpack and get like a hacking power.
Hmm.
It teleported me to the center. Oh yeah, I see you out there flying. My guy's like standing confidently in the center and your guy's like upside down, like orbiting. Oh yeah, so that gives us, so we get like a hacker suit. It gives us, yeah. various like cosmetic rewards at this point.
Mm.
I think that's pretty much it. There's just this area and then
What's this thing?
a story point. I guess there isn't. Oh yeah, here we go. This is a way to teleport back. Yeah, I sort of wonder, like, is there another puzzle, that like a secret puzzle to be uncovered? But I haven't really seen any hints of something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming we can plug this in somewhere. Like my backpack. I just like put it on my thing.
Yeah, that thing though, like we got one of those from every storm. Like every storm has like a little story piece. I think it's just like equivalent of an audio log, it's like a text log. And
Yeah.
I think
So wait, can we only put it into the home base or something though? Like, is that how we get the point?
Well, that story
Like
log,
where...
I think it's just for reading the story. It doesn't like
Oh.
it has.
I would
the only
assumed it
reason
would have
they
been
can,
like
plug in.
a data slate or something like that. Yeah, I don't know. I just didn't realize because it couldn't plug in anywhere.
Yeah, I think the plug ability is just like so that it can be stored. So then you can have like each of the text logs. Because I think that's how the bad guy talks to us or something.
Oh.
Oh yeah, it's like the personal story
Well,
of the bad guy.
Yeah, it's like a log, a journal or something, like a log. Yeah, personal log, it says.
Yeah. And then this thing teleports. We still have to like guess. Oh yeah, maybe the southernmost one. I'm gonna try and see if that's near our base. But now we don't have anything left to do basically.
How do I go back? How do I get out of this?
Where did you go?
Okay, there we go. Yeah, I just didn't realize how to get back into the purple arm. Wait, which direction did you go?
I went to the southernmost, and you might be able to see me on your compass. If you press R, you could open compass.
Yeah.
Did you go to like the south? The bottom, like, teleportation place? You could teleport back to the core.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
well, like I'm close enough to the core that I can just
Yeah, somehow your guy's like in a different
Which
place. I went to Equator 1. What are you like flying somewhere?
Okay, hold on. Which one did you go to? Equator 2?
Equator 1.
Right.
It's like, yeah. I think it would be, it's always on the bottom.
Equator 1. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm going to Equator 1.
Oh yeah, see there's another text log here, which we just didn't pick up before. Yeah, similar ones have been, there's been one of these at each storm, and it just keeps the story going, I guess. Yeah, I don't know, there's no actual point to us going back to the base, but it's something to do, I guess. Oh yeah, and then this is kind of a ambiguous place, but yeah, I just ran straight across here.
Mhm.
There's our original vault where it all started. Yeah, it's too bad we can't like fly back to the original. Like, there's not more of a connection between the save files for the DLC and the main game, because then we could like fly back to the original planet and start like our previous game. Like, it's too bad we don't get some kind of cool item here, like the surfboard even, to take with us and then bring it back to our original save and then start the game with like a surfboard.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be nice if it was like almost like a checkpoint or something. Yeah, when you unlock certain technology, and it would just like, yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess once you can get the resources to make something really good like that, it's like just mine a bunch of it so that you have like multiples of it, maybe.
Yeah, because I keep playing like the start of the game like a bunch of times, the regular game, and I always, if I don't like find clay, like it's specifically if I don't find clay at a certain part, then it becomes really annoying to like drive around the whole planet like searching for clay.
Mm-hmm.
So then if I could just bring like a single clay, if I could start the game with like one clay, that would greatly like speed up the whole process. Well, now I don't know what to do. I guess our buggies are somewhere. Like, we both had cars at one point. I guess we parked them at a storm.
The car? Did we even? Well, there was the one that fell kind of in the ground. Like, there's if you look in this
the
hole.
Tractor thing, yeah.
Is that what you mean?
No, we had like both our own like little buggy cars.
Oh yeah. No, I don't know where those are though. I haven't
Because
seen.
then I think we abandoned them when we got the surfboards or something. And
Yeah.
then we never drove them back from like.
They might be. Yeah, I think they might be at like the second storm or the third storm or something that we found.
Yeah. Yeah, I listened to this first episode. It's like four or five of the women of MinMax. They decided to like make a podcast that's a separate podcast but like associated with MinMax as like an extra thing that they do. And yeah, it's like pew pew bang. And the first episode was good. Like that's another thing of like, because this satisfies my interest in like, like gaming is something that like I have my own understanding of. like as a man or whatever, and now like hearing like a totally like female owned voice like talk about what gaming is for them.
Mhm.
And then at one point they bring on like each of them brings on like a sibling, and the sibling like reviews the personality or whatever, the creator.
That's cool.
But yeah, it's like interesting to me because it's like a totally different perspective often than I would ever come across on my own. But
Yeah.
it's of a thing that I'm like a thing that I think I sort of understand what it is and I'm familiar with. But then it's like someone else has like a different way of experiencing it, and like
Yeah.
like sometimes more trouble or more like they want a certain thing from it and they're underrepresented in the community, and then
Mhm.
it's like whenever they get delivered what they want, it's a totally new thing that's like it expands like what the medium has been, because it's a voice that hasn't been like listened to or
Mhm.
something, and that's cool. That's like a neat property of art, like expanding
Yeah.
the kind of art that exists by finding like new people.
Mhm. Yeah, I think it's like because of like yeah, I would say that like media is something that's like like media and technology is something that's like exploded pretty quickly. Like from its like inception to now. Like it's evolved so fast that like it's been able to capture it's it's been able to progress history really fast, but it's also been able to like capture it very quickly as well. So I think like there's like it's almost going to cause an issue
Yeah.
because like it's like oh wow like we have so much insight now and like we know like we know history how history is like unfolding and like we're capturing so many events uh but like it's like also yeah like I guess like it's the same as like I don't want to say it's exactly the same as like racial issues but like there's like certain like women's issues I think that like are similar to race issues maybe in the way that they're like represented on media and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like information is like evolving faster than like the human mind can really sort of like process it, and that's having like a weird effect where people just
Yeah.
yeah.
Or just like there's channels of like communications I think about certain things like kind of um like a lot of like medical information like science like journals and stuff like that like science medical journals are behind like things like paywalls. So like that's kind of like an inaccessible knowledge like to the average person. And I think like some of the study of like certain issues is like also behind a paywall potentially. So like
Hmm.
I think like social media and like content is a way to like kind of navigate the issue of like this being information that's out in the world now, but like it's behind a paywall. And like so it's like it's an accessibility thing, I think. Yeah. So my thoughts are so general right now because like I'm trying to think about like what to do next in the game.
If we had, if we could make titanium alloy, do
I think
you see where my guy is?
that
I
yeah.
made this really tall tower.
Well,
And we could make jetpacks, but
yeah.
I built this tower by just like digging dirt. But we could make jetpacks to like fly up there.
Mm.
The tower was so smooth, there wasn't even like any way to like run against the wall to get down.
Mm.
Yeah, I guess we need titanium. Yeah, if we had titanium, we could make jetpacks. I don't know, we could either quit. We could either go find titanium or just like quit the game.
Yeah, we could end here if you want.
Yeah.
I'm getting like pretty distracted about like trying to manage my oxygen. Every time I'm like, I should go find resources, I'm like, wait, I need to make oxygen. And then it's like, what do I need to make the oxygen? And then
Yeah, I get stuck in like loops like that, yeah.
yeah.
That's something I've been thinking of trying to write like a blog post about, is like the ways that like when I start this game, I'm very certain about what I want to do because there's like a list of objectives, but then as
Mhm.
this game becomes like less certain, like whenever like at this moment here where it's like there's no objectives left, so it's just like make your own objectives and there's no like certainty left, then I become like incredibly lost and then I just run in circles like uh because I don't have a clear way to do something that will
Yeah.
advance things. And so I was thinking about like trying to capture that in like writing so that I could make some statement about how like there's like a like enjoyment or satisfaction is like in some way linked to how clear the next thing that someone has to do is, and like how confident they can be at deciding like what they're gonna do next.
Hmm. Yeah, that's an interesting one.
Yeah, because sometimes too like the more like I was thinking, could I define like the exact moment where it becomes like uncertain, but then the more I play the game, the more familiar I am with the game, and so then I like if I need to do something, I can like map out the strategy to do it and just begin doing it without like much effort. But if I
Yeah.
encounter, it's like whenever like the amount that I
There's a
have
lot
to
of,
think and
yeah.
plan, yeah, whenever it exceeds
There's
like
a
the
lot
amount that
of
I'm
like,
comfortable, yeah.
yeah, it feels like there's almost like a lot of inserted TDM into the game, like where you have to collect, uh, yeah, like a lot of resources or something to be
Yeah,
able
like
to just make like oxygen tanks. Like,
and right now like it's very clear to me we have to collect titanium, but I don't know where the titanium is. So the task of like driving around and trying to find like where it is, that's like the annoying part, is it's like the
yeah.
uncertainty. Like if I had a marker on the map like there's titanium, it would be fun to like pack the bags and then go there. But since I don't,
Yeah.
it's just like I don't know where we have to go, so then it's not like fun to just like drive everywhere looking for it, and then it would take
Hmm.
longer than necessary. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard to like
Okay.
reduce that down to like a statement about like how one could predict like when they're going to encounter like uncertainty. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, what is the exact moment that like, I don't know. Yeah. Like, yeah. Yeah. I think it's just like the gathering resources part of it or something.
Yeah. Yeah, then it's like I should write a blog about like how gathering resources sometimes is like fun and other times it's not, and like why.
Hmm. Yeah.
That was like I like playing games and listening to podcasts if I'm doing like, resource gathering. And
Yeah.
in that one game, like get to work game where you're like on rollerblades and you're trying to get in through. There's like fake podcasts in that game. Like you can get these little audio logs that are like short fake podcasts, and that was like one of the funnest like parts of the game for me. Is like I was so bored playing the game, and I would find these podcasts, and I'd be like, yes, another like thing to listen to, like. But it was like not enough. Like I feel like if there was more podcasts, then it becomes like
Yeah.
more fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult to find like good new podcasts. I've found. Well, like I guess I haven't been looking for podcasts anytime recently. Like I don't think there's really any that I'm listening to like on a constant basis or anything right now. Sometimes like uh yeah, I haven't listened to a podcast in a really long time.
Yeah, this I think Pew Pew Bang is cool because the women that are on it, like they're all like pretty capable and talented in like different ways. Like one of them is running like several like video game stores like in the Seattle area. Like one
That's
of
cool.
them is a streamer. One of them is on like several podcasts where they like review games. So they have like quite
Yeah.
a knowledge of like the parts of the industry, the gaming industry, and one of them is like a lawyer in Canada actually.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a good range of like skills, and it feels cool to see like people that
Hmm.
approach things like or like have different preferences like but also are very like capable of expressing like what what they think about stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I should look into podcasts again soon.
I guess yeah,
But
I guess you need like a podcast player like that's for me that's what it
yeah.
always like actually what I realize these days I need like an RSS feed reader because I'll come across like an article and I'll be like this is a cool article or blog I just want to store this like somewhere and it's like I have
Yeah.
no way to store this like best I can do is like email it to myself and remember later but
Yeah.
and
RSS
but yeah
is good.
yeah, so I need to find like a good RSS system where I can just collect like all the stuff that I cuz it's like you'll find a good website and you're like next time this guy publishes a post I would like to read it, but I have no idea when that's going to be or how to follow. I just have to keep checking. So it's like if I had RSS and it just like pinged me in my in like a feed reader, that would be cool to just get
Yeah.
delivered like articles all the time.
Yeah, it's nice to yeah, have something that like notifies you of like something interesting that's going on.
Yeah, and to be able to track like did I have I read this already or not? It would be cool to
Hmm.
have that. But I yeah, it's like that's a space where they need something needs to become like the default or it shouldn't even
Yeah,
be that
there's a
hard
lot
to
of
like
like same
read.
with podcast apps, I think too. Yeah, like RSS feed readers and like
Mm.
podcast apps. Like I haven't looked again, like I haven't looked into one in quite a while, I think. So like the ones that I know might be old now,
Mm.
but
I
yeah,
still
like
like
the
using
last time I had some.
Overcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that one then because I haven't seen that one. So
Yeah, Overcast is cool. It's like a single guy that makes this podcast app and it's a pretty good job and I think it's yeah, it's free and the ads are all for like other podcasts, which is like very topical, so it's kind of fun.
that's cool. That's nice that all the ads are about podcasts because then like I feel like people that like
Mm.
podcasts only want to hear about podcasts maybe.
Yeah, at least like the yeah, like the banner ads in the app are podcast ads, but then the ads inside the podcast are like whatever the show wants to add.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, okay. And it's
Mm.
only like banner ads or like is it like does it ever like interrupt
No,
the
yeah, it's
like
a pretty
audio
good
flow?
system. I think he has like a you can pay for like to remove ads, I guess, but it's not really needed
Okay.
because they blend in like so well. It's like whenever you are, yeah, if you're like on the now playing screen, like you're listening to the podcast, you have the controls that at the bottom center there'll be like a banner ad for another podcast, but it like blends in
Yeah.
as like so. Usually it's like a podcast that wants to advertise, so it's some like how to be a millionaire podcast, which doesn't. Those are like not worth it but they
Yeah.
blend in because it's like another podcast. It's just like, oh, the podcast is telling me about another podcast. Like, makes sense.
I'm
Well, I'll see
trying to
you.
think of like yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I want to like read. I want to read and write more, but it's hard. it's hard to find a good place to like publish writing that feels like not too high visibility and like not too hidden on the internet. And
Yeah.
then reading as well as like I've been buying some like physical books recently and
Yeah, that was
yeah.
like I think we were in some bookstores together recently that were like pretty good. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I like physical bookstores. They're like the environments of them are usually pretty good. Like I feel like the I haven't been in a lot of like bookstores around me. Like I really only have been into like chapters and stuff like that like recently.
Chapters is
But
pretty
yeah,
good. It's
like
like I guess Barnes and Noble is like the American Chapters.
yeah. But it seems like yeah, like independent bookstores can be like pretty good too. Like I
Yeah.
think I'm probably gonna like look into some or something like that because yeah, it seems like they host like a pretty good environment.
And they seem to do stuff like staff recommendations and then like the staff
Yeah,
in the store, yeah, like there'll be a shelf that's like books they recommend and they write a little paragraph about why they liked it.
yeah, yeah. It's nice. It's almost like I guess like in independent bookstores, almost like a personally curated library or something of like
Yeah.
whoever owns the bookstore or something. Like that's kind of the feeling it gives me. It's like walking into someone's like personal library of like books that they recommend at that time or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to make a video. Next time I have like a reason to make a video, I'm gonna probably go to like a bookstore and like film some footage and like narrate over it with
Mm.
my experience or something.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was a good like conversation today, I think, as well. Yeah,
Yeah, that was cool
it's
that
interesting. To,
it was in time with like the end of the game too. We beat the game. We had the conversation that seems like a
yeah,
beautiful conversation.
yeah, yeah. We should try, I guess, like Valheim or something like that. Maybe next
Yeah,
time.
yeah. I really like the beginnings of Valheim, like running, like
Yeah,
exploring the island the first time, and then sort of
and like
beating.
crafting like
Yeah,
a home base is fun. That's the part that I like the most. I think. Yeah,
yeah, mhm. Yeah. We can loosely plan for like something like Valheim, like next weekend, I guess, if that works.
yeah, yeah. That sounds good to me.
Yeah, I'll see you then.
Okay. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Love you.
Love you.